Hello, Sagittarius. Welcome to your new moon reading for March. Your first card is to step out of your comfort zone. That was in the past. You're being called to step out of your comfort zone. Somebody could have said or did something that caused you to step out of your comfort zone. It almost kind of reminds me of Law and Order. Law and Order was about certain cases and things, but there was a separate show for Law and Order called Law and Order Special Victims Unit. And, a detective who was seasoned in certain cases was not seasoned. Not all detectives are seasoned when it comes to the Special Victims Unit, right? So somebody could have done or said something that upset you. You had to forgive somebody. We get the Strength card, the Three of Cups, and the Three of Swords. So basically, I see it as maybe somebody hurt you, so you may have hurt them back. Or you may have been called on to forgive somebody in the past that you really didn't want to forgive, but you had to forgive them for you. And you could have been dealing with a Leo with this Strength card. It could also be a situation where they had you in a third party or you had them in a third party. And there's just too many threes already in this reading. But you were stepping out of your comfort zone to forgive someone so you could release them. And that way you could feel better. Now, in the present with this new moon, it is a time for healing. It's a time for healing. The person you were dealing with could have hurt you multiple times with that Three of Swords card. They could have ghosted you. Whenever I've used Three of Swords for me, somebody has usually ghosted me. If someone was keeping you in a third party, you could have ghosted them. You could have said, I'm not putting up with this. I'm not going to be a third party. Or if you were dealing with a Leo and you were keeping a Leo in a third party, they could have ghosted you. If you're not dealing with a Leo, you could have been dealing with a Scorpio, because we get Queen of Cups, the Emperor, and the Four of Pentacles. You're kind of holding on to something this person did or said, and you're trying to heal from it. Sometimes in the beginning stages of healing, we're holding on to something, and then we eventually let it go. Sometimes part of healing is holding on to things. Thinking about, if you want to talk to that person again, you hold on to things with that Four of Pentacles and you think, no, because if I talk to them again, this is going to happen. It kind of reminds me of substance abuse counseling. I'm not a substance abuse counselor, but one of the activities they use for people that abuse substances is to ask them why they like to abuse a substance, but then to ask them to list the negative things of when they abuse a substance, So maybe this person made you happy at one point, but then you notice the more closer you got to them, they made you unhappy. They did certain things that made you unhappy. And so now you have to hold on to this and keep reminding yourself that if you go back to them, you're just going to have negative consequences for that, right? In the future, you and your loved ones are safe. So whoever you were dealing with, it's probably a garden variety crazy person. And I hate to word things that way, but it kind of reminds me of, sometimes you could be riding a public bus. Sometimes people ride public buses. And sometimes on these public buses, you see people that don't have the medical care that they need, and they're schizophrenic, and they're saying all this random stuff, and they don't mean any of it. And they're just a garden variety. I don't want to say crazy person now that I've said schizophrenic, but you get what I'm trying to say. They're just a garden variety person that does things like that, and they're not going to harm you or your loved ones, okay? You're going to feel happy again. You're going to get back into a regular routine of your life because we get the Knight of Pentacles, the Four of Cups, and the Sun. You're going to be counting your blessings every day, just focused on your blessings. And your positive thoughts are going to influence your subconscious, and you're going to realize that you and your loved ones are safe. So you're going to go back to when you were happy before this person was in your life, okay? You're going to be happy. So I think, okay, at first I thought I did the reading wrong, but I didn't. I didn't do it wrong. I'm going to get into your manifestation cards now. All right, how do you manifest this? How do you manifest getting back to how you used to feel before somebody hurt you or ghosted you or whatever it is they did? We have unleash your kindest self, go deeper, and go wild. So let's clarify unleash your kindest self. In order to forgive somebody, we have to wish them well. Okay, we have to want them to do well. We have to put ourselves in their shoes. And the way I do it is you have to figure that the person that was harassing you has a lot of issues that probably keep them up late at night and worry them and upset them. And be thankful that you do not have to live in this person's head, okay? We have the Page of Pentacles, the Seven of Swords, and the Eight of Pentacles. So you may have to be fake a little bit for a while to get this person to leave you alone. It kind of reminds me of customer service, and you have that customer at Walmart or wherever that you don't like, and you're just like, yeah, have a nice day, and so unleash your kindest self, okay, even if you have to be a little bit deceptive, or creative. Sometimes Seven of Swords can mean being creative. You may have to be creative to get to where you want to be in terms of learning something. And we also have go deeper as your advice, go deeper. So wow. We have the Fool, the Lovers, and the King of Cups. King of Cups, to me, usually resembles a therapist. In order to go deeper into something, you may have to talk to a therapist. With the Lovers card, we have Gemini energy. You could be talking to a therapist that also happens to be a Gemini. You have to go deeper into believing in yourself with this full energy, okay? Believing in yourself. So you'll be focused on self love and possible therapy um, during the new moon. And if this is not your energy, your person could be focused on a Gemini that is their therapist, possibly, or someone they consider very emotional. And you go deeper into a situation and you uncover who the third party was. Okay, if there was a third party. Now, we also have go wild, is your advice. Go wild. Uh, I like this advice about go wild. To me, it speaks about going on adventures, maybe family vacations, if you're in a committed relationship right now with somebody else. Because we get the Hermit card, the Five of Wands, and the Ten of Swords. It's almost like you're working on some sort of internal conflict and you're ending a cycle that started with you. And I'm not saying it was your fault. It was not your fault. Whatever this person, did was not your fault. That invites certain people into our lives that don't need to be in our lives. And you're putting a stop to that. Okay. You're putting a stop to that. You're not going to let the wrong people in your life anymore. And you may realize what's going on through therapy. Your therapist could say a question that causes you to think. And I've said that to people sometimes over the phone. I was talking to one guy over the phone and I said, "Do you think that you attract emotionally unavailable women?" And he said, "I've thought about that. I've wondered, and so I'm not saying that's your story, but that's just an example of a thought provoking question sometimes that different people may use. I don't know if therapists use it. I just know that with therapists, they don't really talk much and they make you do all the talking so that you can finally get to the inner core of you. Technically, you don't have to pay for a therapist. If you want to, you can be your own therapist. You just stay at home and keep talking and talking and talking till you figure out ultimately what it is that's bothering you. And even if it's talking to yourself, eventually you can get to that moment of happiness when you realize what's going on. And you can pull the swords out yourself. Now, I mean metaphorically speaking. If you ever had a real sword in you, call EMS, okay? Call EMS. But don't pull out a real sword. I'm talking about the metaphorical swords, the swords that somebody put in you when they hurt you. You can take those swords out yourself once you figure out how they put those in there. So if you were looking for mommy and they played on that and they put that sword in there, to stop looking for mommy, to be your own mommy or daddy or comforter, is what I'm trying to say. That way they can't put the sword in there to begin with. And sometimes we don't even know that we're looking for mommy or daddy. For years, I thought that I was not angry at my dad for leaving me. And really, I was. I was really angry. And I just repressed it and didn't think about it. And So sometimes we just have to talk and talk and talk until we figure out what's going on. Okay. Um, Thank you for coming to this reading. I laughed because the little clock on here acted crazy. It went backwards then forwards a few seconds, and I was like, "What is that doing?" But I hope you have a good night, and thank you for coming to this reading. Thank you for your support.